Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Defy the Odds. This is a special bonus episode this week because I had so much more to say about messaging, but it felt like too much to put into one episode. So we're splitting it into two. And today we're talking about the top 5 most common mistakes that I see people making in their messaging, in their content specifically. And I've seen these patterns show up for my clients over and over, and it's what I coach them on. And I guarantee you, when you start making these tweaks, you will start getting more DMs from people who want to work with you because they're going to feel seen, they're going to feel understood, they're going to feel like you're speaking directly to them, and they're going to know that you have the solution, that you have a process or a framework that you can use to help them get the results that they want. And they're going to want to hire you, which means you're going to be making more money. That's why I said in our last episode, your messaging is either making you money or costing you money. This is huge. If you are watching on YouTube, you just saw beautiful Miss Penny walk by in front of the camera. She just woke up from a nap. So let's just dive in and break this down. The number one, well, these are in no particular order, but the first mistake that I see people make in their messaging is this: your message is all over the place. There's no consistency in your messaging. If we look at your Instagram feed, it's not clear what you do or how you help people or the results that you deliver. There's no repetition to your messaging. It's not completely obvious, meaning it's not being repeated, what your methodology or your framework is, which is why in our last episode, I said this is the first piece. You have to know your highest deliverable outcome that you deliver, and you have to know the framework that you take people through, because once you know those, then we need to be putting that into every single post. And if you're not doing that, it's going to seem like your message is all over the place. So, what is the one biggest problem that you solve for your people? And can you repeat that in your content over and over? And I'm not saying you have to say the exact same things, but if you look at my Instagram feed, you'll see that I'll talk about how you can grow your business to 20K months, how you can have 20K MRR, how if you're at 8 to 10K months and you want to get to 20K months, here's what you need to do. Here's the biggest mistakes that stop me from hitting multi-six figures. Here's the difference between a 6-figure and a multi-six figure business owner, right? There's a repetition. There's a very consistent message in what I'm putting out there. So, what is that outcome you deliver? Do you know what it is? Is it an outcome that your client actually wants? Is it a sexy and attractive outcome? Is it something your client wants to buy? I mean, would you buy it? If you go look at your Instagram feed, would you want to hire you based on what you're posting? And again, is it clear what you do and how you help people and the results that you're delivering them? If not, great. Now you know exactly what we need to be doing differently. Okay, so this is number one. Your message needs to be consistent. Mistake number two, your message is not clear. It is not specific and grounded and obvious. So many of you are using vague, fluffy, abstract, ethereal language. And when I read it, I have no idea what problem you're solving, and I have no idea what it is that you actually do. So I have a couple of examples here to help you see the difference in this. So maybe you're saying, here's how I use NLP to help you move through your fear, right? That's actually pretty grounded because you're telling me you're using NLP to do what? To move through your fear, right? You could say, here's how I use human design to help you move through your fear, or here's how I use unconscious reprogramming to help you move through your fear. So you're already pretty grounded, but we could take this a step further and make it more clear and say that in my work, we identify your energetic and your mindset gaps, and we shift them one by one so that you can stop undervaluing your work and actually charge what you're worth. Do you see how that's so much more grounded? It's so much more obvious what you do, who you help, and what you can help them do differently, the result that you offer. Okay, here's another example. I could say something like, I help people struggling in their business, right? Already we're clear because we know I'm talking to business owners, but how am I helping them? What am I helping them with? Am I helping them grow their email list? Am I helping them launch their first offer? Am I helping them use Facebook ads to create a funnel? So I could say, I could write a post that says, you have inconsistent income and you're throwing up these launches and you're looking for quick cash injections so that you can pay rent this month. But what you actually want is more predictable income and a sustainable business. We're so focused. We're so narrowed in on who we're talking to. We're so specific. And the language I'm using is grounded and tangible. So in the words that you're using, in the examples that you're giving, the more specific you can make it, the better, which is why we need to know who your ideal client is. All right, number 3, the next mistake is that your message is not potent. It's not compelling. It's not activating. It's not moving your people. It's not giving them a breakthrough. It's not giving them a quick win. It's not helping them think differently. And it's just not potent. Every piece of content you create should either give your people a win, it should give them something, an action they can take and do to get a win, or it should activate them to think differently, to move differently, to expand, to remember who the fuck they are. So what's a truth or a lesson or a story that you could share that's going to show your people what's possible? What's a truth or a lesson or a story you can share that's going to make them move in a new energy? What can you share to activate them more deeply into experiencing this result that they want? What's a bold claim that you could make about your work, about your evolution, about your clients, about the world? What do you see differently? What do you see people saying out there that you do not agree with, that you believe is not true, that you think there's a better way? This will help your message be potent. It will help it feel elevated and more specific. And like we were talking about in the last episode, it's going to be divisive. It's going to alienate certain people. And that is what we want to do because we're also going to be drawing in the right people. Number 4, you are not backing your message 100%. You're actually not 100% confident in what you do and that you could help these people if they come into your world, and it's showing in your messaging. Your messaging is not unwavering. Your message is not full of conviction. Your message is not full of power. You are the authority here. You are the expert. You are the guide or the teacher or the coach, right? You're the leader. So it needs to sound like it in your messaging. It needs to be full of power. You need to be fully convicted and know with 100% certainty that you know what you're talking about, and that if the right people come into your world and they hire you, you can help them get that result. And you need to speak like that in your content. You've got to back it. You've got to back yourself. You've got to back your work. And if you don't, that's where your work needs to start. Number 5. Your messaging is boring, bland, and inauthentic. You sound like a robot. You sound like every other person on the internet. There's no personality. There's no character in what you're talking about. How do you speak to your friends? Or if you have a client sitting right in front of you, how do you talk to them? That's how you should be writing your content. It should sound a little bit conversational. It should sound like you. So are there phrases that you say? Are there words that you say? Do you call people babe, right? Like, do you say, here's the thing? Because I say that all the time. So I've started putting that into my content. Here's the thing, or the truth is, or you know what? I'm going to call you out right now and lay it out there. How can you make your messaging sound like you? If you were to read 2 pieces of content, could people tell which one was yours? You have to be able to stand out. There has to be personality in it. Otherwise, why would your people want to read it? They could just go Google the information themselves. They are coming to your page for you. So you need to show them you. And I'm not saying you need to water it down. I'm not saying you need to friend zone yourself. But your messaging needs to feel authentic and it needs to sound like a human wrote it, not a chat GPT. So look at these 5 areas. Where do you know you're falling short? Where do you already know you need to clean things up? Is it in the consistency of your messaging? Is it in the clarity, the vague, fluffy language that you're using? Is it in the potency, the activation, giving them a quick win or a breakthrough? Is it in you backing your message, your own certainty and power and conviction in it? Or is it in your personality? And right now, your messaging is just really vague. You could even rate yourself 1 through 10 on each of these and see where you fall, and you'll know exactly where you need to start doing your work. Pair this with the types of content I shared in the last episode, and you've just got a mini course in messaging and content creation. And I guarantee, I know I said this at the beginning of the episode, but I guarantee if you implement this, you will start hearing from people. You will start seeing different, bigger, more consistent results. I hope you loved this episode. It was one of my favorites. If you did, please share it over on Instagram and tag me at Ashley Wilhite Coaching. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you very soon.